All right. Hey, everybody. This is the relaunch, man, the relaunch 2.0 of Marketing Mondays podcast. And I had to launch this bad boy the right way by bringing in the sales whisperer himself, Wes Schaefer. What's going on, Wes?
Cue the applause. Ah, yay. Woo. Ah.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. My man.
That's some energy right there, baby.
That's what it's all about. Positive energy, positive vibes. Let's make that money. This is your guy right here. Oh, Wes, man, there's some people out there who don't know you. I don't know. Maybe they just live in a really dark place. They don't have the interwebs. I don't know what it is, but tell the people about who Wes Schaefer is.
First of all, it just saddens me that they don't know. They haven't had the sales whisperer light in their lives. So we have a moment of silence for those people, okay? Okay, all right. So who am I? Man, I'm still trying to figure that out, right? But I'm crazy enough to have been married for 21 years, the same woman, had 7 kids with that same woman. And for the last 11 years, I've owned my own business. And for a few $100 and a little creativity, I sent the government at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, uspto.gov, some money, and they gave me a little circle R thingy. So now I've trademarked the Sales Whisperer. And so, believe it or not, that name is good and it's bad. A lot of people are like, what does that mean? They're like, oh, that sounds really nice. What does that mean? And then I hit my head on the table. I'm like, I thought I had a really good name. But I don't know. It does slow them down. It makes them think. And ultimately, in your sales and marketing, that is what you want to do with your prospects. You want them to slow down, right? We all have multiple monitors, iPhones binging, iPads blinging. Kids going to probably come in. We got a new puppy. Puppy's going to be chewing on something. And we're going.
Yeah.
So how do we get the world to slow down for a minute and ponder what it is that we do, right? And so over those 11 years, and 10 years in corporate America in sales. So a couple of decades in sales and entrepreneurship. I've figured out some things, how people think, how they make decisions. And I'm still doing it to this day to grow my own business. But a big part of my business now is also training people, either through group programs, one-on-one, or consulting to help them make sales easy, and that's the ultimate goal for all of us, right? How do we make it? How do we keep more of it? How do we make it simple? How do we make it reliable, predictable? So that's what I'm doing.
Man, you've really worn it out, man. And I could tell, how I found out about Wes Schaefer was this guy. I think I started researching Infusionsoft, and I found this guy, the Sales Whisperer, and it was the same thing that you were talking about, which it made me slow down. And I was like, wait a minute, Sales Whisperer? What is this guy? He sees dead people? Who is this? Right? So
what does this guy think he is?
Yeah, I mean, he knows everything about sales. Yeah, right. Let's see, right? So, I mean, I was really blown away with, this guy, Wes, he's got processes, systems, there's a methodology, there's a system to the madness where people can make every sale. I mean, that sounds familiar. Where'd that come from?
There should be a program called that.
Wait, there is, right?
Whoa.
There it is. Amazing discovery. So Wes, I mean, that's the one thing I don't think that I've tuned into. I've looked at a lot of your stuff. I've been all over your website. I love the content. I mean, when I need some motivation for sales, when I need to close a deal, when I'm lost, that blog is a killer.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell me about this Make Every Sale.
Well, it's always, we're trying to stand out, right? We're trying to get mind share from people. And I've had various names for different courses, and that came to me over a year ago. And what had happened was I was kind of spread too thin. I had all these little courses and things, but then I would look on my computer and I just had all this content just sitting there, right? Free reports I've done in the past or programs I've launched and then sunsetted. And so it was like, bam, I'm going to put everything under one umbrella, right? And the claim has to be bold as well, right? Make every sale. And I'm working on a whole new I don't know, not really a tagline, but an irresistible offer, a big, bold promise. And so I'm working on that. It's on my whiteboard now. And I've been writing that down. But you got to stand out. You got to make a big, bold claim, like Domino's, right? Fresh hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. You know, they can't say 30 minutes anymore because they got sued, but that's because people are wimps. But anyway, you got to have a big, bold promise. And so make every sale. It's really, what do they call it? Double entendre. Because on the one hand, it's like, can you really make every sale? Probably not. Should that be your goal? Yeah, I think it should. But within every sale, when somebody finally gives you money, there's already been 5 or 10 or 137 little sales that you made along the way. So it gets back to your whole systems and the processes. Yeah, maybe you're running an ad on Facebook. All right, well, they have to see the ad first. It's got to be a good image. It's got to be a good story, a good headline. That's a sale. They got to click on it. If it's a video, they got to listen to it. At the end, there's a call to action. They have to type in that URL. Then they go to a landing page. They got to read through that, and maybe it's a free report. They got to opt into that. Then you have a drip sequence of some sort. They got to open those and, you know, hey, buy now. Hey, I'm sorry you didn't like it. Here's a 10% off coupon. Every step along the way, you're making sales. Plus, when they get to your fan page or to your website, they're going to look at it real quick. Is the logo nice? Is the page fast? Is it mobile responsive? I mean, 50 or 60% of traffic now is mobile, right? Over 50%. And so you got to start mobile and then work back to the desktop. So that's a sale. So all these things are sales. You have typos on your page. So when I say make every sale, you know, the goal is for you to literally make every sale you ever have an opportunity to make. That's the goal. But within that, you need to really understand, peel everything back, leave no stone unturned to stack the odds in your favor. And so on the one hand, it's bad news because it's a lot of work. The good news is it's a lot of work. Your competition won't be this diligent. So if you focus and work, you know, improve 1% every day, fix one thing, make one thing better every day, you're going to beat the competition. It's just, it just is. You know, but you may not beat them this week. Maybe you won't beat them for a month, right? But as you keep going, you're applying that pressure, you're going to win.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I cranked out a ton of YouTube videos, and I had you in mind. That's why I reached out for this, because if I remember correctly, the last time you were in Houston and we talked, you told me that you cranked out hundreds of videos to get started, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're still out there. And I don't make as many now, but it's I'm hiring people so I can offload some stuff to get back into more content mode. Because honestly, I kind of coasted for a little while. I kind of had a life, right? I mean, went and spent a week in Argentina with my son because I could, and been doing jujitsu and, you know, 3 hours a day. Just got back actually a couple hours ago, and so I've kind of pulled back a little bit, and I'm firing it back up again, baby. You're going to see more Wes. Get ready.
That's what I'm talking about. My man. And I'm telling you, I mean, this guy's got the fundamentals locked down. It's like learning your ABCs. You know what I mean? It's like learning that and then just mastering it. I mean, the people who really got it, they can say it backwards and forwards, right?
Right.
You know, so, and that's a little bit, that's another step further than the competition goes. You know, they do the bare minimums. They just, you know, do what's good, what makes them feel, you know, oh yeah, I got one little video done. I gotta win. No, I stayed up last night till 3 a.m. and I cranked out 20 or so, enough to set off Vimeo's spam filter. So that was
nice.
Yeah. So I didn't
know
Vimeo
had a spam filter.
Well, we do now. So yeah, it can't keep up with me, but that's the thing, is doing that due diligence, man. So there's a system, right? There's a system you use that's like as simple as your ABCs, right?
That's the plan, ABCDE. So what I tell people is you have to think systematically. You have to think, though, if you remember the water cycle in we learned like in geography class or whatever, or science class in, I don't know, 6th grade, how you get snow in the mountains and it melts and it runs into the rivers, and the rivers flow into the lakes, and the lakes flow into the oceans, and then from the oceans it evaporates into the clouds, and those clouds float back over the mountains and they snow and it starts all over again, right? The whole cycle of life sort of thing. And that's how I teach the ABCDEs. So it's in a circle, right? It's not linear left to right. It's not a beginning and an end. So, but starting with A, you attract, right? You have to attract business to you. You have to attract visitors to your website, but you also have to attract them to opt in and identify themselves. It's not enough just to have a visitor, right? The donut shop doesn't make any money because you look through the window or you come in and you sniff the donuts. You need to buy, right? Or the restaurant, even a restaurant, it's not enough for you to come in and buy. Ideally, you sign up for their birthday club, or their monthly specials or whatever. Now you're on a mailing list. That's ideal because now you can bond with those people. So you've attracted them in, you've attracted them with an offer. So now they're in your system. Now you bond with them, and preferably it's multimedia, multi-touch, right? Ideally, you get their address, their phone number, their cell phone number, right? Their email address. People can't opt out of a postcard, right? So the local restaurant, the local chiropractor, the local dentist can mail things out. Hey, come on in, free exam, right? Whatever, free burrito on your birthday, because you're going to come in with more people. So you attract them, you bond with them, now you convert. So you actually get the money. Most amateurs think that the money is the end game. But if you draw this in a circle, ABCDE, C, the conversion is just the halfway point. Because if you don't deliver a wow experience, then they could ask for a refund, right? They could be dissatisfied, not ask for a refund, but give you a 1-star review on Yelp or Amazon or wherever. So you got to deliver that big experience. And when you over deliver, then you endear. You endear yourself to them. That's when people give the testimonials. That's when they give the unsolicited review. That's when they brag about you on Facebook to all their friends. And now you're back to A. So because you've endeared yourself to these customers, they're bragging about you. Boom. You're now attracting more business. But now it's free, right? They didn't click an ad. You didn't have to mail 12 catalogs to them. Their friend bragged about you. That attracted to them. Now they opt in. Now you bond with them. And it goes faster and faster and faster if you do those steps properly, right? So I tell people, write it down. Obviously we're talking now. So if you're listening to this on the episode, write it down on a piece of paper, ABCDE, draw it in a circle, make everything connect, and then start breaking down each step. And it's a lot of work, right? But once you build this out, now you're just tweaking, right? Now you're just enhancing each step in the coming months and years. But the system, that never changes. Those 5 steps never change.
Man, that's genius. That's wisdom right there, man, because I work with so many clients too doing Facebook ads, and they don't really understand, or maybe they don't even have a process in place, but then they want to start burning money on ads, and it's going to be a waste, right? You've got to train yourself. You've got to discipline yourself to find a methodology, stick with it, make it work, and it becomes the law. You know what I mean? It becomes pretty much your sales Bible, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's interesting. People, they want to act busy. They want to hop in and start spending money, and hey, God bless them. But until you have good conversions and you know what is converting, you're literally spending money to have people never come back. Because people, we're tough to give somebody a second chance, on a business. So if you're spending money to send people to your site and it's not ready, if it's not optimized, if it loads slowly, if it doesn't render well on a smartphone, if the pop-up is too onerous, ugly colors, you got Flash playing some, music from like Air Supply or something, they're not coming back. Right. So make sure you have the conversions down. Now start paying money. Now you're going to attract, then you're going to bond, and you're going to convert, you're going to deliver, and you're going to endear. But make sure you have, what's working on the site before you spend money to send people to it.
Yeah, absolutely right, man. So those are hard lessons. You're going to pay for it one way or another, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully you're not bleeding out of your nose or, cash just flying out the window or out into the trash can because you didn't find a methodology, you didn't stick to it, and you didn't become methodical about bringing sales into your business.
Right.
That's the key. I see a lot of people suffer. So, speaking of that, there are things that you use to attract people to your business. I mean, what kind of stuff do? You do stuff like free reports or something like that to attract people in?
Yeah. I mean, all the above, right? I've written books. I have my own podcast. I do videos. I do comparisons. I have a free survey, a quiz on CRMs. So blog posts in general. So it's, I tell people, look at the questions that you're asked. Look at maybe objections you get that you don't know how to handle. And those are all ideas that you can create content around. And you have to look at your niche, your marketplace. Are you selling to seniors? You probably don't need to be on Instagram or Snapchat, right? And maybe not even a podcast. If you're selling to millennials, then get on Snapchat, get on Instagram, have a Twitter feed, and think about how they're going to consume. Would they listen to a 30 or 40-minute podcast, or do they want a bunch of 3-minute videos? But once you know the questions that you're asked and you know where your ideal prospects are hanging out, create content for them. Maybe it's a free report, maybe some videos. But what most people make the mistake of doing is, because of the curse of knowledge, right? We know too much about our business and what we do. We take it for granted that we think everybody else knows the same thing. So we just kind of gloss over things. Mm-hmm. And so, the reality is you need to really dumb it down and really go into a lot more detail. So like you talk about the book, like I wrote this big 700-page book on Infusionsoft, but I'll take 13 images, like on decision diamonds. I took 13 images to explain decision diamonds.
Wow.
Okay. Now someone else would just say, well, you have a sequence, drag 2 more sequences, connect the first sequence to the other 2 sequences, and the diamond will appear. Okay, great. I mean, you and I use the software, so we know what all that means. But others are like, what's a sequence? What's the difference between a sequence and a goal? Can one sequence be connected to another sequence? Can one sequence be connected to multiple sequences? Where will it go if it is connected to both? How do I do the routing, right? So I went in just meticulously, and then I would put a box around the icon with an arrow, like click right here. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so you have to really slow it down and work on the details. Look at an Apple commercial and really pay attention to how they zoom in on features. I got an Apple Watch, right? And now the TV, your screen will be filled with the ridges on the crown. Okay, and then the watch will rotate and they'll zoom out and you'll see the face, you'll see the band, you'll see underneath it. But they start in on purpose. They want you to see the details. They want you to see it as more than just a watch. Oh, it's great. It's a digital watch, big deal. But the more personal and up close you can get, the more people feel connected to that item. But in your business, they're going to feel connected because now they finally understand, right? We're researching things that we don't know, right? You and I aren't researching Infusionsoft, right? We know the software.
Right, exactly.
We're researching the next thing, right? And so if we get somewhere and it's a wall of text, it's 3,000 words, all one paragraph, no formatting, no pictures, no subheadlines, we're just like, oh, great. Or they use a lot of acronyms. For the LSI to connect to the API through the HTTP, you need a PHP on your CSS. And you're like, what? I don't know what you're talking about, so you leave. So when you take the time to spell it out, then, and again, you have to understand your prospects. Are you talking to a beginner, or are you talking to a PhD? And so make the content relatable to them. But in general, taking the time to give the nuances and step-by-step is rarely a bad move, right? Most people listen to this, you need to follow that process. So again, make that, maybe it's a 3,000 word post, but you make it into 10 separate articles, taking them step by step. And then each of those 10 articles gets its own 3 or 5 or 7 minute video. And then that could be bundled up and made a free report. You could bring on 3 or 5 or 10 guests that are experts in the field and interview them to enhance that post. That could turn into a webinar. I do that a lot when I'm asked to speak. I'll take all my slides, I'll build it as a blog post first, and then give it as a webinar to practice. I'll tell people, free webinar, not selling anything. I'm giving a talk. I just got to go through the slides and get my timing down, and I'll take questions. Right. So now I have a blog post. I have a recording. I have a speech that'll be recorded. So multimedia, multi-touch, right? Those are just all some ideas you can use to go far and wide. So if you're struggling with what to make for how to do content, you're well on your way if you implement those steps.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. Is that, that's what I was saying earlier. You're methodical about this stuff, man. I mean, you figured it out, and there are ways. I've seen that used before by other people who specialize in sales too. And sometimes I see that people will test, like you do a free webinar, and I see that some people, they use that as a test to convert that into a paid webinar to even see if it has any value before they start pumping money into Facebook ads and Google ads and start, mentioning things to their list that they may not even be interested in.
Right.
So, I mean, that's awesome. So, man, I always love hanging out with you, man, because my brain starts getting stronger and more attractive, So, man, unfortunately, we're out of time, but we're going to do this again, of course. We're going to follow up with you.
This is just part 1 of 32. So everybody, I'll be back.
You're right. Believe it, he'll be back. So, in traditional fashion, Marketing Mondays podcast, we always had this thing where, I always have the guests on the podcast always give something to the listeners, right? So sometimes it's access to a free course, maybe it's access to some free resources, something along those lines, something that, you can give an actionable step, give them something to take away, something to work on, even after the podcast is gone, so that they can see results from that in their business and get the ball rolling, get the momentum going. So, that's the way we do it, man. So you're up, Wes. I know you got some stuff.
I'm up. Where do we begin? So I talk about the ABCDEs. Go check out the saleswhisper.com/PBL. So that stands for process before login, but it's PBL. And I've got a video there and a report you can get where I look at the whole ABC, but I'm talking about defining your process. So before you log in, before you go on a free trial or go buy Infusionsoft or Aweber or Unbounce or whatever, document your process first. Once you're very clear on either what you currently do or what you want to have happen, then the software that you need will start to make sense. It will become more obvious. Okay, so start there, PBL. So the saleswhisper.com/PBL. Another one is if you're already in sales and the phone's ringing, but you just need to get better at converting, or you're making outbound calls, setting appointments, go to thesalesagenda.com. This is the exact agenda, the exact format, the exact verbiage I've used since 2006. Even before I started the Sales Whisper. I was still in corporate America when I started the Sales Whisper. I was selling to Google. I was selling to big telecom companies, Time Warner Cable. I was selling to eBay, Apple, Facebook, and I would follow this agenda. And I've used it now in my own business as well for 11 years. And that's a free report. Get that, make it your own, put your logo on it, tweak the questions, but you should not tweak the order. Your questions are going to be unique to you, but follow that format, and you will take control of more sales going through if you follow that sales agenda.
Awesome, man. So that's the thing. Everybody, you're here. Don't waste time. Don't waste energy. You could have been doing something different. You could have been playing with the dog. You could be catching up on your favorite Netflix show. But instead, you decided to spend time with Jaleel, the real deal, and Wes Schaefer, the sales whisperer, right? So do Wes a favor. Do yourself a favor, right? Go to thesaleswhisperer.com. Go get these resources that he's put together. He's already done the hard work for you. Just go get it. Get to work on it. Don't download it. Don't let it sit on your computer. Dive in right away. Go get your cup of coffee, your Red Bull, whatever it is. Pick your poison, sit down, and get to work. Put your head down and get to work. Go follow Wes on Facebook and, stay in touch with him so that you get more and more and more information. Because this guy is cranking it out like a machine. Trust me. This guy is like the Terminator of sales. His exoskeleton.
Like Terminator 2, when he's like the nice guy and saves Sarah Connor. Or maybe he saves John. John Connor, come with me.
Come with me if you want to live. So, man, I always appreciate having you on here, Wes. We got to do something again pretty soon. Like I said, we got another 31, 32 episodes to fulfill.
That's it. You and me, man. It's going to be the marathon.
That's it, man. So we're running it. You guys are going to run the marathon too, and you guys are going to make every sale with the Sales Whisperer. Thanks a lot for coming out, Wes. Really appreciate it. We always have fun. And, man, till next time, it's been Jaleel, the real deal, and Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. See you next time.